Yo, round two. Let's take on that division a second round because the momentum of the prior videos and the understanding that kind of came in helped understand a bit further what kind of a bit more details about division, how it's created, and there's a couple of examples that can be used to understand what it does, how it's created, how it is perceived as normal in the mind, and also how you can just absolve it, and more of a concentrated round two on that. But it will take, parts of the prior discussions to make kind of some a new whole in that aspect. So, division. What's meant by division? There's political division, there's religious division, there's social division. It's as soon as you have a reason to create a group of us versus another, an aspect of you and them. And how has that come to be normal, where there's been a mindset, an understanding of basically being separate from everyone else. From birth, we're often taught that, this is your mind, your body, and everyone else is separate. We never necessarily went into the soul level. That kind of went into the other another area, territory, which is religion. But even religion separates you from everyone else based on the creed that you have. So you're being taught one thing, but then you're being taught that everyone else are sinners because they're not following that one thing. That is division. There is an us and an other. Whatever group that it is. Social, political aspect of it too. You're either for leftist or you're rightist. And if you're one of those two, you can't be the other. That's division. It's ones or zero. It's this or that. And if you don't follow mine, then you're against me, with that kind of logic, with that kind of thinking. You're in an opposition group. Now, this is easily created within people because at birth, because of the momentum of those habits within our society, that habit of thinking, you've seen it throughout the years, throughout the ages. There were various levels of divisions that were then lifted out slowly and carefully because we started understanding that, there's no point in having division like that. You can notice it, various movements. Initially, women's movements. Then there were black movements. Then there were LGBT movements. You can start noticing it that way. Same kind of goes with religion. Even in various big religious institutions, there were breakaways because they were like, whoa, wait a second. That's not unity and love. Fuck that. But look at what tends to happen. Oftentimes, in the breakaway, there's another level of division. Again, because I'm staying to my creed, but I'm doing it differently than you, so you are different. See, it goes on a soft level of groups and knowing, but it completely forgets the human aspect. And this is how easy division is created. Here's a very easy and simple example in day-to-day life. Gossip, okay? You're in a group that talks gossip about another person, okay? But the talk is as if this other person was different than you. Meaning that if you were in their situation with the exact same thought and the exact same momentum leading to that situation, you would not be any different. There's no different. Yet, in gossip, it is talking about the other person as if you were different, as if you would know better, as if this situation is separate, in a conscious way, is separate from you if you were with that same context of thought. But you're not in that same context of thought. You have no bloody clue of the context. Yet, this is how division is easily created. It is an assumption in that gossip that, this person fucked up. Thus, I know better than this person, even though I have absolutely no idea of the context that led to that situation. Yet I'll still talk as if I do. That's an easy and simple division created by gossip. Bring that up to another level. Look at media, okay? When there's news talking, or even forums talking about a specific person, there's often talk about that person as if they knew who this person is or who this person was that led to that current moment. Oftentimes they listen to a news and then immediately the perception of reality is formed on that person. So what tends to happen is the aspect that there's a single point of understanding when it comes to who this person is or who that group of people is, and that's that. But that's bullshit, because you can't assume what a group of people is or who people are based on someone else's opinion who is not them. It's like you're hearing tertiary feedback from a third party and then basing your reality, your perception of reality on that, which then causes division with that person because that's not their story. That's not who they are. That's not what they lived. There's no point of understanding of that. So division is already made. Same goes with religion, on various kinds or in various ways. We've seen how it was. And we've seen, again, religion 2.0, religion 3.0, religion 4.0 upgrade and update as society updates its own terms of acceptance throughout the years. Remember, before, religion was suppressing women, way before. Witch trials and all of that. Division was made easily because you had to follow that if you wanted to go to the best place on earth and evade the worst place ever. But again, all of this is a creation of perception based on a tertiary anecdote or a third party telling you about XYZ. How that locks in division is enough repetition of that tertiary opinion, because that's what it is. It's someone else's perception. It is not what is being lived in the moment. Enough of that, and your brain automatically goes into shortcut mode and goes, oh, I've learned about that. I was told about that. So that's exactly this way. No, it isn't, and it is. Non-duality, let's get up to date with that. It's not, because that's not who they are and what they've lived. It is because your lens of perception has been colored by that. And this is how certain people consider it normal to be divisive. That division is normal. That's how you can clearly see people still believing in elections, even though they ran the same runaround, they ran the same roller coaster every 4 years or every 8 years with the same kind of results happening. The same intensity and division and hating your friend because he's like, oh, fuck you believe in this person? Look at all the things that I heard about this person but did not live. How easy you can get divided. Same kind of goes for religion. Oh, if you don't necessarily believe in what I believe, then you're going to the worst place ever. And I don't want to follow you there. You're a petty soul. Division. It doesn't really matter which kind it is. It is always division, division, division. Now, a big disadvantage from that, you can add that to the top of disadvantage, aside from being divided from yourself, because you'll be judging yourself from any of those rule sets. But another big disadvantage from it is you don't grow, you don't evolve. Because growth and evolution, just like the first times we got those intercontinental roads and exchange between various countries, years, centuries ago, okay? Just like that, you've seen there was a growth, there was an evolution, there was an expansion of creation based off various inspiration. Yet when you're divided, sticking to my point, fuck it, that's me, that's all, that's the end of the line. And then you don't grow. You don't get different techniques that would make your life better. You don't get into the aspect of unity because you've been programmed, that's been repeated, that division was normal. That the other group is exactly how it was perceived from that tertiary party, from that third party, right? And that becomes normal. You watch it in the news, it's propagated. That's how stereotypes are still kind of alive, because both on the perceiver and the other person that's involved, there's a repetition that goes in mind. And then there's a habitual, habitual perception, or you're kind of used to it, to seeing those patterns, because it's constantly reinforced and it's accepted as all right. But division was not the game of this life. Division has continuously brought wars and needless famine, needless anger, needless combat. Because once you sit down and allow yourself to see all perspectives, or most perspectives, then you start understanding, oh wow, yeah, so you came from that, which led you to that momentum, which got you here. Understood. Because we all came from that initial point. This is the key thing to understand. There are no evil babies. You are all born without any idea of all those rule sets that were given to you as you grew up. That's the original point. That's the point of unity. That's the point of clear, compassionate, worldwide understanding. There's no evil babies. Okay? Get that to your head. It's that simple. Okay? So when you understand that, you're able to understand how certain people are led to division from environments with good intentions, but not necessarily knowing what they don't know, because it's the same cycle. They were taught this indirectly, considering division as normal. So when you understand that, and you kind of perceive the various ways divisions are sprinkled here and there in our media with repeated habit, even video games, man. Yo, man, fuck that bad guy, because that bad guy is the reason for me to go on this quest. So I am justified in this division. I am justified to take them out. Keep repeating that hero story, and it's normal to have that division. Unless you change it. You can naturally change it when you perceive it. Yet when you don't perceive it, it becomes normal to stay in that divisive way. Good, bad, right, wrong, left, right, Christian, this, Buddhist, just division. It's normal to perceive that way. Yet when you understand that your growth, your evolution, and just planet's growth and evolution is stifled by that old concept that was never necessarily looked at, because we didn't know what we didn't know. When we got that little big box television and then access to all those media, we didn't understand the subconscious mind. We didn't understand the power of repetition on that in its various states, beta, gamma, and all of that, and how it affects the mind and how subtle it is. But now we do. Why? Because we've pooled our knowledge together to understand more and more about who we are as human beings. We didn't stay on ancient texts only, staying divided and saying you have to follow this that was written and interpreted by people who could not understand the high level of consciousness that the people who were telling them had. Again, it's like a person in high school trying to understand somebody explaining quantum physics. It is tricky, it is difficult, and these masters were in an ascended state. Yet, society and various organizations who had good intention and wanted to be in the eyes of an entity that was too humanized at that time, because that was still a thought that was running in the mind. Well, I gotta follow this or I'm gonna get smitten, or I'm not in that entity's good favor, even though this prophet told me that the entity created us in its image, all as creators, So, and the same kind of goes when it comes to social divide. We're gonna say we accept everyone, but we're not gonna accept you if you think this way. You can't say both at the same time. And it stifles your growth, because at this point, okay, you're going to socially bang the aspect of accepting everyone, not accepting a specific group or understanding a specific group, which then keeps you apart from understanding the whole. Again, big difference between giving a free pass to shitty actions like people attacking each other on the streets, but between that and understanding how a specific repetition got them to think, locking away other perceptions to then act this way and consider it normal. Okay? And it's also a big difference when you understand that and you do not blame them. You stop looking at them and you understand how that situation happens. So you're going to make sure, or you're going to understand how you can, how do you say, not propagate, but your dialogues, your interactions, or become more divisionless, more unitarian, so that that momentum is not spread and that lens of perception is slowly diluted. Okay? It can be a lot to gather, especially that, or fiction nowadays, it's quite division oriented. Quite 90% of it, because that's an entertaining story. And because we've got that technology more accessible, it is much more easier to stay in those. You binge watch, you stay in that method of thinking, that thought flow, that method of understanding life, that colored lens. But upon you spotting that, noticing that, and then reflecting back on yourself and how that has impacted your life, you're able to kind of see, oh, right, shit, damn, no evil babies. So play with that. Take some time to understand that, and you can kind of see the little division that's been created, especially with the big Coco-19, where it's like, don't talk to people, don't distance people, don't even sneeze outside or else you're the devil. See? There's no point of understanding. It's not going, oh, right, this is the season of weather change. People are going to sneeze. Or, oh, right, I can't just go paranoid out of a digital application that will tell me, digital application that can be modified at any point. But, hey, some people still want to believe that, so leaving it to them. But when you understand how division manipulates your emotions, your perceptions of reality, and can easily get you up and down in the anxiousness, then you start kind of going, wait a second, that depression, that anxiety, indirectly I'm doing it to myself. Again, non-duality, yes and no. But there's the part where you have control. So at that point, are you going to take control and modify shit? Or are you going to continue blaming? You got choice. And you also understand what kind of leads you to certain choice, or naturally leading you to certain choice. Repetition of patterns. But at that moment that you recognize it, now you choose. So what do you want? It gets to be simple. Don't blame yourself for any of this. We didn't recognize those patterns before, having this big, massive worldwide co-op, which is attempting to be, split apart by petty divisions. Oh, my side or another. Oh, this candidate or another. What changes in your life right now? Oh, right. The whole shebang is done. What changed? Oh, you feel great? And now you've seen, right? Certain people, oh my God, my side won. Now you're going to have to face the shit that you've done. Really? Immediately sending back this aspect of division. And as if it was normal, even though they condemned the other side for doing it. You see how easy, how ludicrous it gets, right? And it's not necessarily spotted. It's funny. It's both sides are the same. Both sides are the same. So don't fall into that trash. Honestly, when you think on any side, okay, on any kind of subjects, or let's say momentum of division, when you understand that both sides kind of end up being the same, and that the hurt, the personal emotional reaction, is only from one's mind, who sticks to one or another. When you understand that and how futile that little habit was, but how overkill it used to be, well, you just let it go. You let it go. You find your own balance, and you don't force that balance on other people, because that's division. You just get this point of understanding, and you just live and let live, and while selectively choosing where you want to hang out, because hey, you're not gonna force people to be at that state of balance as well. You can just understand, oh right, you're at this point and you're going to be running that pattern for an amount of time, possibly, if you don't necessarily want to if you don't necessarily spot how it's hindering you, because again, common dialogue, right? It became easy. So let go. Head towards some other place. You're going to have fun. You get that momentum. You get much more creative. You get much more exchange, evolution out of that. And then guess what? You help even more people than if you were to stay in that divide and divisiveness. So it's all in your hand once you know. And then you take the time. All right? Take the time. Later, guys.